Welcome back to our Zone Locked Pokopia run. If you haven't seen the first episode, I will link it below. We made a great start to the Withered Wastelands, collecting 36 Pokemon and creating 35 habitats. We finished the storyline for the zone, and in the background I've also been collecting all the human records. I was wondering if people would prefer a quick montage of these or would prefer me to talk through each of them and their contents. Let me know in the comments. And let's get started with part 2. The beautiful habitats we set up last time have already attracted some new Pokemon, so let's go meet the newcomers. Excadrill moves into Drillbur's old home, Wartortle moves into Squirtle's old home, and Marowak into Cubone's. It's almost like they're evolutions of each other or something. A gooey little thing wriggles out of the water, and a giant cactus jumps out of a berry tree. Gastrodon has been nibbling away at the bait on our fishing rod, and Gerda has been practicing his lifting with some crates we put on a wagon. I realise now I didn't film myself making Gerda's habitat, but here it is. Haxorus is the last in his line to show up and appreciate the log furniture. He showed up along with Pinsir, whose best friend Heracross also showed up later. I'm sure they'll be so happy together. We also got 4 in a row with Ivysaur, Slowbro, Noctowl and Parasect. The Wastelands was really the place to be. Hiding in our tall grass one day was a giant dragon. I'm not sure how tall this grass is to be hiding in. And then Blastoise shows up. This is totally normal behaviour. There's also another easy habitat we can set up along the way, the fishing pond, which is just like the ocean fishing spot but in fresh water. We must have put some good bait on the hook because it wasn't long before we got a bite from a Slowking? Isn't he meant to be really intelligent? Maybe he was the one fishing. Unfortunately, some of the habitats are much trickier. The illuminated bench requires a powered on vending machine, and we haven't been to Bleak Beach yet to unlock electricity. Hang on, Pichu has generate? Maybe this will work. Perfect. We can also use that to light up the garden terrace too when we get the pieces for that. We're waiting for them to show up in the shop or Pokemon Center because they take iron ore to craft, and that also comes in a later area. Wait, did you guys know if you try to pick up these broken streetlights you can't? Instead they turn into iron ore. Just enough for us to make those pieces. Venusaur, here we come. Speaking of furniture we need, the floating in the shade habitat requires the resort umbrella, which we haven't been able to find in the shop so far, but hopefully we will soon. The Very Berry habitat and luxury Chirp Chirp meal both need the berry items, which I have the recipes for, but we don't have all the berries that we need, especially for the basket. Because we can't print trees from Cloud Islands, it's about waiting until the berries or their seeds come in the shops or the furniture themselves. Pichu's hard work paid off. Here's Venomoth. I was pretty sure the Chansey resting area would be easy to set up with the kit in the shop, but it needs gather Pokemon to build and we don't have any, nor do we have access to any. Luckily the recipe for the plant popped up in the shop one day and I was able to make it myself, DIY superhero. It's so pretty that Blossom came along to dance for us. I'm honestly surprised this habitat doesn't spawn Chansey, but whatever. Now for the rest, this is where my new bestie comes in, Pidgey. Pidgey is so useful because she has a search ability and the fly ability. The search ability allows you to use the dowsing machine to find hidden glowing spots, and because she can fly, she doesn't get stuck on terrain. She does need snacks sometimes though, but she's not fussy. In these glowing spots we can find 3 things we need: fossils, mysterious slates and relics. Relics are needed for 2 specific habitats we're missing: the irresistible scent and glow, which needs the pitcher plant, and the creepy grave offering, which needs the eerie candle. So far I haven't been able to find any of these, but it's just a waiting game. If you get lucky, they can spawn in the Pokemon Center too, so I'm checking that every day. The mysterious slates are the big grind I hinted at last episode. They fit into this mysterious mural you can find underground, and there are 27 of them. 26 for every letter of unknown, and 1 for the symbol unknowns. Restoring them all unlocks a very, very old Pokemon. As for fossils, there are 3 that you can find at the Withered Wastelands: the armor fossil, shield fossils, and wing fossils. The first two are actually pretty easy to find. Along the way I've picked up a lot of duplicates which I've been using for trading. The armor fossil brings Shieldon, and the shield fossils brings Bastiodon. But the wing fossils... According to Cerebi and other websites, this can be found in the Withered Wastelands, but I have yet to find one piece. I've got enough to make several Bastiodons, and not even a bone of Aerodactyl. I'm beginning to wonder if the information is incorrect, or you can only find the wing fossil pieces after a certain story beat. If anyone knows, please let me know. If I don't find a single one by the time all the other grinds are done, then I might accept that that's the case and move on, but I will grind it out if it is possible. We're also waiting for a wet puppy to show up on Dream Islands, but no luck so far. I managed to find a Ditto doll in some of my digging, and I got very excited, because if this could take us to any island, we could find resources we're missing in this area, and that would be useful for some of the builds I'm doing. But so far, it's always taking us to an Eevee island. I think it can only take you to ones that you've been on before, or ones attached to areas you've unlocked, which is interesting, if not annoying. I also found a sail fossil on one of these, which is meant to be unique to Bleak Beach. Because I want to do each habitat naturally for the area, I won't be using this fossil as it would take away from the challenge of Bleak Beach. Similarly, I accidentally made this vending machine resting spot, but its background in the habitat decks is for Bleak Beach, so I destroyed it, and will need to remake it when I move to that zone. We also had quite a lot of conversations between Pokemon this time around. Slowking and Tyrogue, Scyther and Excadrill, Haxorus and Axew, and Sliggoo and Venonat. Let me know if you prefer me to show the full conversations. I have an idea to sort of edit them all together in sort of a little telenovela/soap, so let me know if that's something you're interested in. At the end of this episode, we've collected 57 out of 67 possible Pokemon, and 42 out of 49 possible habitats. I've also been building some things in the background, as you might have spotted throughout the video, and I was wondering if you wanted me to show you them as I build them, or just give you a tour at the end. Building without Magnemite is really annoying, so I haven't been filming them, because they take so long and require so much back and forth, but if it's something you want to see, I'll make sure to record going forwards. And until next time, stay cozy.